So if you worked in the Lagos State Ministry and you're retired, or Lagos State Ministry and you're retired there, or you worked as a teacher, the Nigerian Union of Pensioners covers you.
Exactly. So at the end of the month, union dues were collected from the headquarters. We found out that this same clique, we go to Abuja and collect money, and anytime we hold meeting, they will never tell us how much. There is a disagreement or high level of dissonance between us now. That was what led to the birth of Integrity Group. We are Integrity Group, fighting for the interests of vulnerable pensioners.
What's the membership? How are they drawn? Integrity Group.
Integrity Group, we are from different ministries. We came under one umbrella. So anytime we hold meeting at Awolowo, we find out they will come out with pathological stories.
Yeah, but isn't that causing further problems? Because if that union doesn't relate properly with the other members, and then you form another group, so how do you then get the correct information, as it were, to disseminate and would ultimately to get the pensions out?
Well, we have direct link with the National Secretary.
And they recognize?
Yes, Elder Actor Zal. We relate with him directly. We found out that these executives are not reliable. They are unreliable.
Is he not part of the executives?
No, he's at the national headquarters level.
You know, we're thinking that by now some of you would know yourselves, and so that's my fellow pensioner, that's my other pensioner. But again, if you look at the discoveries after the government tried to do the biometrics exercise and which they conducted, they found out that about 70,000 were actually ghost pensioners.
I think that could emanate from a head of service. Can a pensioner have access to such inhuman attitude? A pensioner cannot. Where the question should be directed to head of service, because they are not ready. In fact, I see that this country, we need to rise up and challenge certain actions. Our leaders should be made accountable, and this is part of it. Pensioners who have served.
How did this whole money get to about 5 years?
It was a deliberate policy by top officials of head of service.
Do you mean for 5 years they've not been paid, or
exactly.
It's what we call staggered kind of payment?
It was a deliberate policy to exploit us, to make us at their own.
Is the government doing anything in that regard, saying that we will pay?
Government has kept quiet. This revalidation exercise that took place, Senate intervened. I watched the proceeding live. They intervened. They said, why must you allow these people to suffer?
Well, the government couldn't have kept quiet.
Stop further action and pay them.
Your association, you said sometimes they go to Abuja. What's the story? What's the news they bring back to your people?
They come back with pathological stories to cajole us, to make us believe they are working for us. This was what led
we're asking this, Mr. Phillips, because everyone is worried. The senior citizens, everyone is concerned about their welfare, and I'm quite sure the government is watching. So definitely they are looking into all of this. So we must really situate this problem and know how to get it solved.
Exactly.
Some must have died in the course of that 5 years.
Even I have a photograph of this young man. Look at this young man. His wife died on October 8th, and he died on October 11th.
He's a pensioner. He's
a pensioner. Look at him. He spent 28 years in service in the Federal Ministry of Information. There are others. I remember the case of an elderly man, 80-year-old man, who collapsed at Akure and died on the spot. There is another one at Ibadan, from Lanlate town. He died at the venue of the exercise.
So every time we get to see you people on television, you talk about venue of the exercise, we see you people on television, and they say come for verification and all of that. After verification, what next?
After the verification exercise, they kept quiet. And silence means
the pensioners weren't paid after verification?
At all, they are not paid their arrears. Some of them have been receiving monthly pension, but we are concerned with 5 years arrears.
Is it what you're currently owed now?
5 years. Some are owed 4, some are owed 3, some are owed 6 years.
This is all, not just the federal parastatals now, this is also in the state parastatals as well?
No, they are all federal government civil servants who were retired. Some who were forcefully retired, some who are, who retired voluntarily.
Have there been any reasons given for, this non-payment of the 5 years arrears?
They have never given us any reason. Even make this through maybe through press statements or through government.
So for the 5 years, I mean, you mean that for 5 solid years, year on year, you were not paid anything
at all? As I'm telling you,
not that it was staggered, not that they paid this month, they didn't pay the following month, or maybe they paid this year, they didn't pay the following year.
We have
for 5 years,
5 good years. I was forcefully retired in year 2006, only for me to find out in January 2007 when my late mother died. I was not paid up till now. Before they even gratuity. Do you know, as I'm telling you, Office of the Accountant General of the Federation paid 10 years 1 month to all forcefully retired pensioners. 10 years. I spent 28 years. I was paid 10 years 1 month. Parallel. As I'm telling you today, they were the retired staff.
How much were you supposed to have been paid?
I'm
not talking about the amount. How many years were you supposed to have been paid?
I was supposed to be paid 28 years.
And not 10?
I'm telling you, I didn't come with the document. I will have shown it to you. And virtually all pensioners have the document. We have made a representation, but our decision is going to court.
But it seems there is a problem here. If for 5 years you weren't paid, and the leadership of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners has been negotiating with the government, and there's a disconnect, or you don't believe their story, how do you begin to reach the government when you do not believe the story of those who represent you with them?
It is through mass protest. Next week, we are also planning for a world press conference. We have shown respect to federal government of Nigeria, head of service. They don't have interest of workers, even forcefully retired civil servants.
You haven't given us the details of what your representatives, that's those of the leadership of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, have been telling you.
Well, as I'm talking to you, we have not been having direct, we have not been having messages from them unless we have to call them.
Well, what's the message that they brought? Why did you begin to suspect that they were beginning to take the side of the government?
Well, I think it's policy. This time around is politics and diplomacy. Some of them, that is one of our grievances. We are not getting good response from them.
Yeah, the thing
and
is,
that is the reason why we have decided to go public.
Good response in terms of what you want to hear, perhaps. Correct me if I'm wrong. But what if what they tell you is what they actually get from up there?
Exactly.
So how do you verify that what they're telling you is not the real situation?
Sometimes we called some officials who have link, who can get us some information. Like after the end of this revalidation exercise, we got an information that they are not ready to pay. They said in February. Why should you now embark on revalidation exercise when you are not ready? The day we appeared, we held protest on September 12th. The second day, it was published in the paper that there will be a revalidation exercise. And on 23rd of September, officials of EcoBank came. That's to tell you there's something going on underground. Officials of EcoBank came and they said they wanted to issue checks to all affected pensioners. The coordinator of the revalidation exercise said he had instruction from Abuja not to allow them issue checks. Do you know that the Eco Bank officials went away in annoyance, disappointed? I still remembered on the 23rd of September.
Well, the pensioners are directly under the office of the head of service.
Exactly,
isn't it?
exactly.
And as we speak, you say there's no correspondence from the head of service.
At all. They just kept quiet. And based on this, we decided by writing a letter to the Senate President and Speaker that since it is obvious that these people are not ready to perform their statutory function,